Start our meeting for this evening. I would like to recognize the High Sheriff of Richmond County, Mr. James Clemens. Will you please come forward, Sheriff Clemens?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. It is truly an honor to stand before you this evening to bring a presentation for the Richmond County School Board. And this check that I'm about to present to you is a result of the hard work of the men and women of law enforcement, and in particularly the Richmond County Sheriff's Office. As we work in this community and we have our war on drugs and we fight, as individuals go to court and have their day in court, if found guilty, the proceeds from those particular crimes as assessed by the court by lawful order is to be turned over to the school. So tonight, if the school superintendent, Ms. Goodman, will come forward, I have a check that I would like to present to Richmond County Schools. Based upon the hard work, hey, Cindy, based upon the hard work from the men and women of Richmond County Sheriff's Office and law enforcement officers in this community, it is my honor to present you with this check for $4,852.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Right,
Always
yes,
give you
Wait 1 minute. Ms. Brianna, will you? Yeah.
Ma'am?
We need to get that check back. We need a picture with that check.
She won't let me hold it long.
I know, I understand.
Got to stand in front of the
Okay,
ceiling.
that's fine. All right.
Hold it up, be proud.
You gonna get it on there? That's a big check.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Sheriff Clemens, thank you so much for what you do. Chair determines there's a quorum of board members present for this November the 8th, 2018 Richmond County Board of Education meeting. Board, please come to order. Ms. Bobby Sue, you have our moment of silence.
Yeah, if you would, stand with me for a moment of silence, please. Thank you, and good evening. Tonight we have leading the Pledge of Allegiance with us tonight, Temperance McGowan. Temperance is a kindergarten student from Fairview Heights School. We're glad to have her here tonight and her father. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Temperance.
Board members, you have in your packet our minutes from our open and closed board meetings for October. The chair would entertain a motion to approve as presented.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second as presented. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor of approving the minutes, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Thank you very much. Madam Superintendent, are there any changes to the agenda?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Then we will adopt the agenda by unanimous consent and go into our first item of business, which is our Inspiring Excellence Award. So, Ms. Brianna.
Good evening, Chairman Mabe, Dr. Goodman, and members of the board. Tonight I have the pleasure of recognizing 3 individuals who exude excellence at Ellerby Middle School. Certified recipient Bonnie Yarborough has begun teaching in 1994 at her alma mater, Ellerby Middle School, and is now in her 36th year of teaching the CTE class computer skills and applications to 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Principal Melvin Ingram says Ms. Yarborough is an inspiration to us all at Ellerby Middle School through her timeless work to positively influence the lives of Ellerby Middle School students, parents, and faculty. Congratulations, Ms. Yarborough.
She's been teaching school since she's 8 years old.
Next, I would like to recognize classified recipient Virgie Clark. Ms. Virgie works in the Ellerby Middle School cafeteria. Mr. Ingram says that Ms. Clark has become a motherly figure to students, faculty, and staff. She has worked at Ellerby Middle since August of 1998 and always serves students, faculty, and staff in the cafeteria with kindness. She is an inspiration to Ellerby Middle. Thank you and congratulations, Ms. Virgie Clark.
She makes really good cakes and party on food.
And lastly, but certainly not least, I would like to recognize Saquanica Brown. Ms. Brown is a dedicated bus driver who has worked for Richmond County Schools and with the students of Ellerby Middle for 4 years. Mr. Ingram says that she displays excellence through her interactions with students and her consistent pursuit of student progress as it relates to conduct on the bus. Thank you for being a positive interaction for our students every morning and afternoon, and congratulations on this well-deserved achievement.
Do we have another plaque? She should get 2.
Yes, she should.
Oh.
Did you run your route today and make it on time?
Hey, that's even better.
Tuesday morning at 5:45, as I was driving up Beaver Dam Church Road going to Tommy Deese's house to get ready to chop barbecue, I met one of those big yellow buses. And I'm thinking, what time is it? It's 5:45. Yeah, I guess they are on the road. Mr. Ransom, School Improvement Star.
Mr. Chairman, Dr. Goodman, and members of the board, several years ago we began the transition from a school improvement notebook to a school improvement process using NC STAR. NC STAR is a web-based tool that guides school improvement teams in charting its improvement and managing the continuous improvement process. During the last several months, Mrs. Bergen, Dr. Patterson, and myself met with principals to discuss their school improvement plans. During our meetings, we were very impressed with how Cordova Middle School has embraced the process, and we have asked Mr. Rob Ransom and Mrs. Annam Odom from Cordova Middle School to share their journey using the NC STAR school improvement process.
Thank you. Thank you. We're glad to be here tonight. I'm going to stand so I can see the PowerPoint. We
I'll
are
help
2
you out.
members of the team, but certainly not all of the team.
Can't hear you.
sorry. We're going to share just a little bit of the information with you tonight. And we'll just start with what the school improvement team used to look, or what the school improvement plan used to look like. It used to look like a rigid document that was, we met on it one time a year, and that was what you had, and you really didn't go back to it again until the end of the year unless you had a major issue at school. And currently, what we have now is NC STAR, and what we do is we are continuously meeting on this plan. We meet at least 2 times a month, and the plan just allows for us to be a little more flexible and to modify the plan as our needs go on throughout the school year. So where we begin with the district goals. We have the 4 goals that the district has for us, and we've chose tonight to sort of spotlight 2 of those goals. And we're going
One academic and
one academic and one the discipline goal, behavior goal. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and the process that we go through with that. There are over 120 indicators with NC STAR, and when we started the program 2 years ago, we were asked to assess 12 of those indicators, the key indicators, and we did, and we chose three of those indicators at that time that would best meet our needs and help us achieve our goals. So we went on with that process, and we still have those indicators, but as we've moved through the process, we've added indicators, and you will see those are noted there. I'm sure you can't see them, but they're noted there with the X marks beside them. So it's a continuous process, and we continue to grow with it. So an example of this is you'll see one of our goals right here is goal 1, and over to the right you'll see how the indicators will line up with those goals. And then back over under goal 1, you'll see the bulleted points. Those are our action steps that tie in with that goal. So all of those things are together, okay? And this is goal 4, and you'll see the same thing. You'll see indicators, and indicators may align to more than one goal. So you'll see the indicators over to the right and the action steps bulleted below the goal. Now, you want to do that? So we also have a list view of the indicators and action steps that we use in our meetings. And you'll see a couple of the indicators up there and the bulleted action steps below those. And you'll see highlighted bulleted points in there as well. And those points are the ones that we use for our Title I funds. We use those to tie in with our school improvement plan because all that has to be tied together at this point. So, okay?
Okay, so I've been a part of school improvement teams before, and like Mr. Ransom said, I think we would meet maybe 1 or 2 times a year, and we had good intentions, but it just, I don't know that we ever made the progress that we wanted to. But with NC STAR, we have Mr. Ransom's first year at Rohannon, which is now Cordova Middle, is the first year we implemented NC STAR. So the 15-16 school year is on the left-hand side. You'll see for goal 1, which was the academic goal, and you'll see with the implementation of NC STAR that we've made some growth there. Then on the right-hand side is the 4th goal, and that is our suspension goal. And again, with the implementation of NC STAR and our administrators, we've made growth there as well. I don't know if you'd be interested, but you do on our website. There is the website for InduStar, and then the guest password and username. So anyone can access that at any time to view our goals and our progress since using the program. That's it.
Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Maples.
Mr. Chairman, I just want you to know that all of our schools have been using NC STAR. This is their 3rd year, and some school districts are just now getting on board. So we do want to applaud our principals and especially our guidance counselors for taking that initiative to be early adopters. And a special thanks to our guidance counselors who have taken an additional leadership role in our school. They're to be applauded for that.
Can we get that added to our board docs? That particular, the last one?
Sure can.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, Dr. Goodman, members of the board, will move to school improvement plans now and getting those approved. General statutes require that schools have a school improvement team that consists of principal, assistant principals, instructional personnel, instructional support personnel, and teacher assistants assigned to the school building, and parents of the children enrolled in the school. In order to improve student performance, the school improvement team at each school has to develop a school improvement plan. That includes SMART goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound, and also have strategies that will increase student performance. We selected 4 goals for all of our schools because we truly do embrace better together, and we can support each other while we're achieving these goals. So we're all moving with the same goals in mind, and hopefully student achievement and student performance to follow quickly behind that. Goal 1 in all of our schools is increasing student achievement. Goal 2, to achieve exceeded growth at all our schools. Goal 3, decrease suspensions. And Goal 4, to increase attendance. All of our principals and school improvement teams have shared their school improvement plans with their staff for their approval. You have been provided with a copy of school improvement plans in your board docs for your approval. At this time, I would be glad to answer any questions that you may have about our school improvement plans.
Were there any questions of Dr. Michael?
Mr. Chair, I'll just make a comment. I was visiting a school today, and they were recognizing students for their achievements for the first 9 weeks. And at this particular school, they had made some significant gains as far as with school attendance.
Right.
And I know that has been a big push, you know, since I've been on the board and for a while, you know, with our kids, you know, attending school. If a kid can't attend school, they can't learn if they're not at school. And so really applaud all the work of our principals, our teachers, our guidance counselors for the work that they've done with that.
And our social workers
And
as well.
social
I know,
workers, yeah.
I know your wife's a social worker, so you didn't say that, but let me say that. They own that that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And they do a lot of work toward that end.
Any other comments? It's an action item, isn't it?
Yes.
sir.
Okay, Sherilyn,
Make a
motion.
motion.
Have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. We have a motion and a second to approve the school improvement plans as presented by Dr. Maples. This is for the 2018-19 school year. We do new ones every year.
Correct.
Any questions for Dr. Maples? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor, let know by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, we'll now move on to our low-performing schools. We have 2 of those, Cordova Middle School and Monroe Avenue. As defined by general statute, low-performing school are those that receive 1, a school performance grade of a D or F, and a school growth score of met expected growth or not met expected growth. And again, Richmond County Schools has 2 low-performing schools. Monroe Avenue, they received a performance grade of a D and a growth score of met expected growth. In Cordova Middle School, they received a school performance grade of D also, and they also met expected growth. We had a timeline that we had to follow that was put out there by the Department of Public Instruction. And on September 24th, we met with school administrators about the process, the timeline, and a webinar provided by the Department of Public Instruction. On November 1st, principal recommendation by Dr. Goodman to the board members for the principal at Cordova Middle School, Mr. Ransom. On November 1st, we also had preliminary plans submitted to the Board of Education through board docs. And on November 1st, we also notified parents with a letter that was sent home. On November 1st, school plans were posted on district and school websites for public feedback. And tonight, November 8th, we're asking for the Board of Education's approval for school improvement plans for our 2 low-performing schools, Cordova Middle School and Monroe Elementary. If you have been provided with a copy of the school improvement plans, and if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them at this time.
Dr. Maples, I want to make sure that everybody understands. both Monroe Avenue and Cordova met expected growth.
That's correct. And if you're a D school, you have to exceed growth to get out of low performing. They are having conversations now where perhaps in the future that may not be true, but right now, if you're a D school or F school, you have to exceed growth.
Right. Okay. Okay.
And that's the next one.
The chair will entertain a motion to approve the.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a proper second to approve the school plans for Cordova and Monroe Avenue. Any questions? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Quick. House Bill 670, communicating threats.
Yes, sir. Chairman Mabe, Dr. Goodman, members of the board. There is new session law, House Bill 670, that I want to call to your attention. We are trying to make sure that all of our parents and students are aware of this law because of the impact that it is going to have. This law basically says it's an act to increase the penalty for communicating a threat of mass violence in a school or a church, or a religious place of worship. Communicating a threat of mass violence on educational property by any means communicated, could be by phone, text, talking to someone, social media, or whatever. Any communication such as that of any type of mass violence will be a felony. And we know the impact of a felony on a young person's life, so we want to make sure that they all thoroughly understand that it would be a felony for anything like that. Now the question is, act of mass violence. Mass violence simply means a situation of injury to someone, injury or a life-threatening situation to occur to two or more people. That is considered mass violence. So a threat or even a fake threat, something that you know is not going to happen, but you put it out there anyway, can be considered a felony, and the child is going to be held accountable for that. So we want to make sure that that's made clear to all of our parents and students, because it does go into effect December 1. So in less than a month, this goes into effect in North Carolina.
Okay. Any questions of Mr. Quick?
How are you letting them know?
We are putting it on our website. We're sending home letters. We're having the principals all talk to their students in school and send home notifications to parents. We feel like parents need to really understand. We're going to do a Connect Dead message. We're going to communicate in every media we have, because this, a lot of parents will not be aware of this, and they really need to talk to their children about, just the child that gets angry and says something inappropriate will now be subject to this new law. And so it could have some serious, like Mr. Quick said, serious ramifications. So we are trying to get the message out.
And this is new state law. It was approved in 2017.
Yes, sir.
To go into effect.
December 1st.
Yes.
December 1st of this year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you, sir. We
Thank you.
appreciate it. Ms. Hood, surplus items.
Good evening, Chairman Maiden, distinguished members of the board, Dr. Goodman. You have a list in your board docs of surplus items that's out at the warehouse that are no longer workable. They've been stripped to where they've taken parts off to repair other things, and they've just accumulated out there, and Mr. Sims needs the space in the warehouse. So he's asked me if I could move them out, and usually what we do when we strip them like that, we take them to salvage and just sell them and get what we can out of them, and then just deposit the money back into the child nutrition account, which usually is very little money, but it's better than nothing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Chair will entertain a bunch.
I motion that we approve the child nutrition surplus report as presented.
Okay.
I second.
We have a second. We have a motion and a second to approve the surplus items report as presented. All those in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Board reports, board member reports. Larry, you want to start? Pat, excuse me. Pat.
October was a long month. There was a lot of stuff happening in October. And I visited a lot of schools. Today was one special. I went to Rock Middle because they had the competition between the houses there, what I call fraternities and sororities, and they had me working. And so I worked, it was competition that was designed to teach teamwork. And it was very impressive. The kids got involved in it, and my wife and I worked hard at it. So, plus I went to when we introduced our new horticultural teacher, went there and saw that, went to the CTE luncheon, went to the EC stakeholders luncheon, attended the law conference in Asheville, which was very, very informative, attended Special Olympics yesterday, and football games and cross-country meets all month long. I was involved with all that, so I got to go back to work to rest. No, I wouldn't miss this for a world, and I really enjoyed doing it. So.
All right, thank you. Mr. Etheridge.
I had the privilege of going to the Fairview Heights. They did a tree planting, and they had Joy Kennedy and two of our varsity football players. I know that one of them was Jaheim Cody. I'm not sure who the other one was. But they came and planted a tree in front of the school for the bow tie club that they have at Fairview Heights School. And they're doing that job to help improve student behavior. But these kids really enjoyed having that tree planted, especially with those two football players. I had the opportunity to go to Hamlet Middle, Rockingham Middle, Monroe Avenue, the 9th grade academy, Richmond Senior, Fairview Heights, West Rockingham, the Early College, Cordova Middle School. I went to a JV football game down at Hope County. If I'm remembering right, that was one where it rained some, and then it rained in torrents. It was just one of those solid, wet ball games. Then I had an opportunity to take Joy Kennedy and her, I think there was about 15 students we took to the state fair for the Future Farmers of America, which I'm glad that, the horticulture is going, and this is something that Joy is getting going. I was able to see the Scotland County JV game, which was very good, and also the varsity game. And then we started doing CT video presentations. I said, what better way to promote Richmond County schools than to do videos of our teachers where they introduce themselves, where they work, and the courses that they're teaching, and the positive. And we're posting this on the Richmond County Schools Career and Technical Education Facebook page, where they're getting exposure from the community. Went by Washington Street School, and also had, since I like to take pictures, Maria Davis at Mineral Springs, since we played a ball game on Thursday night against 71st. Friday night was open and it was raining anyway. I went and spent 3 hours taking pictures of kids in Halloween costumes and coming in throughout the school there. Today I went to LJ Bell, and I also went to LB Middle. They had a career fair today, and I'm thinking there was probably 30 different presenters that came into the school and presented job opportunities. And we also had the North Carolina Jobs van was out there, and they presented that there. But I wanted to say thank you to Megan Lambeth, who was instrumental in getting this started and getting it done.
Mr. Tillman?
Yes, I too attended the law conference in Asheville. Also participated with the Celebrity Reader Day at West Rockingham Elementary School. So that was fun. Getting ready to start back up our boys club at West Rockingham School, and supposed to be meeting Friday with a teacher at Mineral Springs, talking about having a mentor program at Mineral Springs Elementary School. So I'll probably be reaching out to some board members to assist with that. I know I had a teacher and a guidance counselor had approached me about doing something at that school. Again, just want to recognize some of our fall sports teams, all teams, our athletes as well as our coaches on a great season. And I've noticed with our kids, I don't know if you guys have seen it with our sports, AB honor roll. You know, I saw something where kids were getting recognized for that, and I think that's great. And you know, that is the focus. Education is the focus, and not just sports. And then lastly, just want to make the board aware we do have several AAU teams that are actually participating in football playoffs. We have the Warriors. I think John Carter's here with the Warriors, and then with Earl Hood with some of his teams. So we have some kids that's participating in some other extracurricular activities that's not school related, but still they're our kids and they're doing great things. Coming from the juvenile justice world, I'd much rather see them busy doing something positive versus being at home doing nothing and getting in trouble. So just anytime I get a chance to recognize those kids, I always try to do that. So I'm proud of all of our kids in our county. That's all I have.
Mr. Warren?
I have to agree with Mr. Campbell. It's been a busy month, but lots of sports going on and lots of exciting sports going on. We're very proud of the Richmond County teams. I went to the CTE lunch and meeting and the EC meeting. And I have hats go off to Joy Kennedy. She's doing a great job with the horticulture. I'm really proud of that program. It's nice to see all of her excitement in it, so I know it's going to do great things. But Megan Lambert did a wonderful job today with her career day. Those children got exposed to a lot of things that they may not have gotten exposed to before, so that was a great opportunity, and she did a really good job. Just been a busy month. Good things going on.
Mr.
That's not me.
Richardson?
That's not me.
I know. Broke my chain of thought.
That's all right. Could have been me. I attended the Community Action Group meeting this week. That's a group that in the 9th grade academy and middle schools teaching prevention of STDs with the students. It's an excellent program. They get grants and hire facilitators to go out and talk about the dangers of sexual activity and try to corral them a little bit and make some sense out of it. I also visited Cordova Middle and had a good long talk with Mr. Ransom. Good things going on there, and I know that it's a low-performing school, but they did meet their growth, which is the important component of all of that evaluation mess. It's the most important, in my opinion, and I'm glad to see they're changing that. I dropped in on the 9th grade academy, and they had a Math 1 teachers meeting going on, and I enjoyed talking with the teachers and Mr. Long. Those Math 1 teachers really deserve some accolades because, you know, we're where we placed in the state and that sort of thing. They were all very positive, and I appreciate Ms. DeLong keeping the ball rolling on that, keeping them aware of the staff development and those kinds of things. That's always helpful. And I also visited on another day the 9th grade academy when our superintendent was presenting to the faculty. And she does this for every school on a rotating basis, and I don't know how many times you've rotated through them this year, but I know it's more than once. And she wants to meet with the faculty, with all the teachers in the county, and breaking it down by faculty to go over what's happening at the central office, what's happening with the curriculum, in all aspects of the school. And it's an interactive thing. She wants to hear from the teachers, using little sticky pads and that sort of thing, to get some input back to her from each and every faculty. And I applaud you for doing that. That was an excellent idea. And the teachers, by the way, really like it too, because they feel like they've got a voice at the top level. I also met, I didn't meet, I went to a planning session with Ms. Gephardt and the 3rd grade teachers from L.J. Bell, a planning session, planning the next semester, when they're going to do what. And that was very interesting because it shows how well organized they are. It's not just a harem scarem thing. Those teachers, their input and her help have got it laid out exactly what they need to do to put the children where they need to be in the school. I also visited West Rockingham, visited several classrooms, talked with some teachers and some students and the principal. That's it.
Mr. Mason?
Not much to report, just that I went to the school board meeting in the conference in Asheville, and just want to say I'm overjoyed about the win this past week. Scotland County, I talked more junk than a little bit to everybody that I know from Scotland County, and I'm just so proud as a former coach, teacher, principal in this county. I was just so proud that we're back on track again. That's how much I love that Richmond Rage football.
I attended the Richmond Senior baseball clown day, and those kids put on different costumes and stuff. The Hooters girl did not look much like a Hooters girl.
I'm glad.
But now the two guys in the King Kong outfits, they had to deflate those suits so they could run. They were waddling, and it was ugly. But that was a fun thing. October's busy. November's going to be even busier, in December. We've got kids applying to college. Some have already heard back, and it's just going on. I was talking to parents, and one father was saying, if you had told me it was going to cost this much to have a senior in high school, I wouldn't have believed it. And I said, well, you ain't started spending money yet. You just wait. It's coming. Madam Superintendent.
Well, I want to mention a couple of Saturdays ago, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, the First Presbyterian Church in Hamlet sponsored a beautiful youth celebration for our 5th grade girls from Monroe Avenue Elementary School and Fairview Heights School. And I went by, and it was such a nice event for our young ladies. They talked to them. They had different sessions on self-esteem, makeup. I know that they were getting gift bags. There was a tremendous spread of food that the women from the church had all provided for our young ladies, and that was just an outstanding event. And you know, we had so many staff members there giving up their Saturday mornings, you know, for our students. And you know, people sometimes forget how teachers do go above and beyond the call of duty for our kids. On October 24th, I was fortunate enough to attend the convocation at Richmond Community College, where our very own Dr. Wendy Jordan was named the Outstanding Alumnus for the year. Congratulations again to Dr. Jordan. Last week I got to meet with the Richmond Senior High School Senate, and they are my Student Advisory Council. And that is a fun, intelligent group who is more than willing to share their opinions about things. So we had a really fun time with those kids. And this week I met with our Teacher Advisory Group, which is comprised of our Teachers of the Year from all the different schools. And we had a nice visit, nice session with them. We asked them for some feedback as we're getting ready to plan the calendar for next school year. We asked them, you know, even considering how little wiggle room we have when we plan a calendar, we asked them for some feedback prior to that process. So, like you guys said, busy month, and it's only going to get worse. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Quick, middle school athletics.
Yes, sir. Chairman May, Dr. Goodman, members of the board. We have an opportunity that was presented to me actually back in July by one of our athletic directors, a middle school athletic director, as a question. Can we have a middle school wrestling team? And after some talking, going back and forth, meeting with him, meeting with our high school wrestling coach, meeting with the athletic directors from all the middle schools, we decided that really would be a good goal for us. It would give more of our students an opportunity to participate in something. And sometimes we just need that one little hook to get a kid and keep them in school. So we, after speaking with Dr. Goodman and getting her blessings on it, we moved forward with doing a wrestling team. Middle school wrestling team is going to represent all of our schools, one team. All of our schools, and we're hoping to get representation from each of our schools. There were some logistics, of course, we had to work out. We had to decide who was going to be the coach, where were we going to have the wrestling matches, practice, different things like that, just general logistics. And I think we've worked it all out. We now have a schedule, and we will actually be hosting 2 matches. We'll be hosting a match on, let me be sure I got the dates, on December 5th and January 23rd. We will be wrestling, practicing, and having matches at the 9th grade academy. And we've made sure to schedule such that, of course, 9th grade academy has precedence over everything that goes on there. If they have a basketball game, then we make sure that we schedule otherwise so that we don't conflict with that. But it's a great opportunity for a lot of our young people who perhaps may not participate in anything else to get an opportunity to be involved. So I'm excited about it, and our coaches are excited about it.
Who are the coaches?
Right now, we're only going to have 2 coaches at the most. Right now, we have one coach who is, let me say his name correct. Kirkus? Thank you, Kirkus. I wasn't sure how to say the name, but that's it. Who is a teacher at Cordova right now. Yeah. He has college wrestling experience. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You got good training then.
All right. So I just want to present that to you. I'll entertain any questions, other questions you might have.
When will they actually start practice?
Now that's a good question. I'm not exactly sure when they're starting, but I can tell you it has to be soon because the first match.
I thought you said the first match was December the 5th.
Right, December 5th.
They've got to practice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
December 5th, and the one that we're hosting too.
Yeah, that's excellent. That's good. That's an excellent.
I would just like to say that wrestling was one of my sports I participated in junior high school and high school. Did fairly well at it. My sons, except for Darren, all wrestled, did very well at it. It's going to build a lot of self-confidence. Wrestling builds self-confidence, strength. It's just a great program, so I'm extremely excited that we have decided to do that in Richmond County.
Yes, sir. And getting it started in middle schools is going to be great.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
I'd just like to make one comment. The hook you're talking about is tremendous because my daughter made cross country at Rock Middle this year. It really helped her self-esteem, but it helped her in all areas of her school life and everything. She got the best report card she's ever had in the history of her going to school. And I feel a lot of it to that.
Yes, sir. There's a lot of value in kids participating in things that they love. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Quick, you have a resolution?
Yes, sir, I do. A resolution that is for public assistance from FEMA. If you recall, we had a couple of storms that come through, Hurricane Florence, followed by Michael, and we sustained some damages to roofs and a few other things around. We lost some food due to power outages, et cetera. So we have an opportunity to recoup some of our expenses. And so there's actually a resolution that I would need for you to sign to go forward in pursuing public assistance. If you recall, a couple years ago when Matthew came through, we did the same thing and we were able to recoup about $14,000. So I'd like to see if we can move forward with doing that.
Okay.
Do you need a motion?
Yes, I need a motion.
I make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a proper second to pursue the public assistance through FEMA. All in favor of this motion, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. It's passed. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
You have the floor. Policies for adoption.
All right. Policies for adoption, we actually have one. Policy 4400, attendance. I'd like to present that for your approval.
Motion.
We have a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor of approving this policy, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. policies for review.
Yes, sir. We have several policies for review, but there are actually only minor changes on most of them. 2110, board member election. 2670, business advisory council. 3430, school improvement plan. 3470, alternative learning programs. 4152, unsafe school choice transfer. 5025, prohibition of alcoholic beverages. 6125, administering medicine to students. 6140, student wellness. 6305, safety and student transportation services. 6315, drivers. 7300, staff responsibilities. And 7920, reduction in force, teachers and school administrators. I'd like to present these for your review, please.
That's a pretty hefty stack.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, we got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, you got field trips.
I sure do. We have a few field trips. The African American History Club is wanting to take a trip to Washington, D.C. or Atlanta, depending upon their resources and circumstances at the time. So they propose both of them right now for your approval, and whichever one works out for them is the one that they'd like to do, but I just want to present both of them to you.
Okay.
The other is the men's basketball team at Richmond Senior High School is going to be participating in a tournament over the Christmas holidays in Gastonia, and we present that for your approval.
Okay. All right. Have a motion.
Make a motion that we accept the field trip request as presented.
We have a motion and a second to approve the field trips. All those in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Thank you, Mr. Quick.
Thank you, sir.
Chair will entertain a motion to go into closed session under North Carolina General Statutes 143-318, 11A, 1 and 6.
I make the motion.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor of going into closed session, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
It is passed, and the board will now go into closed session. This meeting is adjourned at this time.
Madam Superintendent,
Sir,
before we go back in, I recommend that the personnel director get a new computer. He just told me he's using a 40-year-old Dell computer, and everybody else has got HPs and all that stuff.
is that TV, is that camera on, Mike? Okay. I'll hold my comment.
You in trouble?
Uh-oh.
Everybody ready? Board five now back in session. Dr. Carter, personnel report.
Chairman May, before you on board docs is a personnel report and addendum. I'd like to ask for the board's approval at this time.
Can we do all but one person?
No, we gotta do them all.
Gotta do them all, okay.
Yep.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a proper second to approve personnel report as presented. All those in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. See, I didn't vote against you. Okay. All right. Anything else come before the board this evening? If not, Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor of adjourn, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are adjourned.
This is the first time in all the years of dealing with personnel.